New face, huh? You from off-world? A ship captain? Well, I'll be. Here, let me buy you a drink. Why don't you grab it?
By the smell, he's been reveling enough for you both.
Me and my friends have taken our destiny into our own hands. We're untethered, free of responsibility. Well, as long as we don't run out of... But until the windfall's gone, we're riding high. See, we just walked out on... It ain't any one thing but the sum of it all, having to work longer shifts for less bits. Our supervisor, Velma, goes on and on about quarterly profits and meeting quotas. But that ain't what Sanjar promised. We won't go back until she agrees to pay us fair and proper. Us on Monarch. I wouldn't doubt it. You look like the type who tends to come out on top. Not like us cogs. It's been days, but Velma won't even hear us out. Maybe you could just make her listen to our... You would do that? We sure are lucky you decided to come up to the patio today. I knew drinking up here would be good for more than the view. Sure thing. What did you want to discuss? Not forever, but we've each saved up our bits, and I stashed them safe in my home by the diner. I reckon we could last a week or two. If I knew that, I'd have tried it. Talking reasonably got me nowhere. Maybe you'll fare better. The others wanted to blackmail her, but we're above that. Besides, them are just rumored. I would never endorse such an untoward tactic, you know, but, well, so far it's just gossip, you know? But if there was any proof to be had...
Look, you can tell Catherine the new shipment will be ready when it's ready, all right? She's welcome to come up here and pack boxes herself if... Did she now? Well, I can see I was mistaken. Because if Catherine really... I hope you can forgive my temper. First, my autoloader foreman stages a walkout, and now my chief... Braxton. He's in charge of getting the fish fat, but also making sure they don't get too many. He's a real wizard with pharmaceuticals, but he has creative notions of working out. We're not keen on rules for rules' sake around here. Means Braxton skips work sometimes, but it also means no company bosses tell... Since you don't seem to be constrained yourself, tell him Velma said to get his lazy ass down here, or she might start noticing something else. Unless you're here to tell me he's agreed to do his job again? I don't have the bits for it, plain and... Besides, if I make an exception for him... Tell him to complain to Catherine in Fallbrook, not me. Sublight's demanding more money for... If Caleb wants to keep this job, he'd better get back. Same thing as me. Where's your proof? Because I know no one...
I'm in the wrong business if a woman this dense can get away with robbing her company.
Just as a... hypothetical. Nothing to see on my terminal. Maybe so, but I bet you Caleb runs out of bits first. Then he'll have to come. He says he's got a stash to tide his crew over. Could be he's all talk, but if the money's real...
You'd steal from your own people?
That's business. Someone's got to keep the lights... For running me ragged while he takes an extended leave at the bar? Same thing as me.
I'm in the wrong...
Just... Fine by me. Stealing's such a nasty word. Let's call it... skip. And yeah, let's just say I've noticed the stereobiotics we use for the fish would... We're not like those corporate towns where you get fined for sleeping on the wrong side of the bed. Besides, the Spacer's Choice stuff we use is cheap enough. And Braxton knows how to get...
But on Monarch...
Why don't you grab a chair? Sure thing. What? Something happened to our stashed bit carts? But I hid it so careful. No one saw me put the... No one goes up there but me. We must be dealing with some sort of... Well, if we can't afford to skip work, we ain't got no leverage. Space me, but good.
Unless you're here to tell me he's agreed to do his... Funny how that works out. Thanks for your help. You've gotten me out of a tight spot here. Take this for your efforts. Something else on your mind? Stealing... And yeah, we're not like those corporate towns where you get fined for sleep. Besides, the Spacer's Choice stuff we use is cheap enough. And Braxton knows...
Ooh, you're the new face. Wow, you must be up on... So who do you follow? Wait, don't tell me. You look like a Hammersmith Thunder fan. No. I'd heard they'd gotten a new hacker. Is that why everyone's making such a fuss about you? But what are you doing on Monarch? Maybe we're not so isolated as... So, what can I do for you? Poor Isaac. I was wondering why I hadn't seen him in a few... I'd really like to help. Isaac was a sweet... I don't know for sure, but I saw Elijah and his buddies pushing Isaac around. They're hooligans from Fallbrook. They sweep into town, drop supplies off behind the warehouse. They usually loiter in the alley behind the yacht club. They're not allowed in the bar anymore. Mr. Sanjar will be pleased to hear about it when you're done. I know he gets fed up with the Fallbrook bullies, but...
Who the fuck are you? This ain't...
Hey! What are you doing here? This is our secret alley. Berta already pissed by those... Listen, that purple-toothed twerp had it. And not that it's any of your business. Well, wait, you're the new sublight partner? Look, I don't want any trouble. You won't see us again, I promise.
I had to correct for a bit of left work.
Well, new business turns up. Celia, didn't I tell you our new...
That you did, sir.
How can yield improvements of 26.7% not quicken the pulse?
You've often posed...
Clear my schedule. This newcomer had... Celia, will you make a note of that for my self-review? Very...
No.
But not so generous I can't drive a good bargain. Now, who sent you? Out at Devil's Peak? If you're headed that far, I see you've brought the right woman for the...
Damn right.
But if you're here for him, I suppose that means you aren't. Now, there's no need to humor me. I'm used to this particular letdown.
Seems like you're having a rough time, Mr. Sanjar.
Oh, don't worry on my account. This is merely the latest. I had hoped that livening up our advertisements with enticing figures would draw. Thanks to the so-called hazard clause, Monarch has been cut off from the board's resources and protection.
So-called is right. We've got our hazards, but we're still here, damn it. The board took off without so much as a thought for the folk.
I don't... Dang it, Captain, that's not right. Folks on Monarch should...
Now, we've kept ourselves in business by trading with individual corporations, but given the... Yes, freedom is a tempting ideal, but around...
Well, Mr. Nandi here has a rather ingenious plan to get MSI restored to the board.
On our terms, mind you.
But will that help the people here, Mr. Sanjar? Keep them fed and...
That's precisely what I'm trying to do.
And if our advertising scheme hasn't borne fruit, then perhaps it's time we took matters into our...
It's true, our Celia is an alarmingly competent middle manager. At any other company, the plan she refers to is a two-pronged approach. And the first part involves seeing...
And a Mantisaur problem, and a Marauder problem.
Many, many problems, but they can all be solved. If you can get us what we need to rejoin the board, starting the Bolt 52, we'll be able to become one of the most productive and secure cities in Halcyon.
And you'll have a powerful ally on...
Why, one of the strongest defenses in Halcyon. An extremely powerful ordnance. In the old arms building southwest of town, which used to be part of Stellar Bay before we had to move our wall. Do be careful. I've lost more than a few people to marauders. Oh, and while you're at it, there should be a terminal in the arms building with some dangerous information. What can I do for you? But that's terrible. What happened? I'm glad to hear you've dealt with them. They've been causing quite... I've been consumed with other matters of late, but I would have dealt with them. Eventually. Of course I would have. Still, your intervention in the matter is much appreciated. Then it's good that I keep such meticulous notes. I've asked myself the same thing many times. Especially seeing as the legal mechanisms we employed were part of the board's own bylaws. Not intentionally, though that's technically true. For many years, this planet was home to as many corporations as Terra 2. As you may have noticed, this planet has more than its share of hazards.
That ain't fair. They didn't leave on account of the hazards. They left on account of their cowardice. The hazards just gave...
Sharp as ever, Nyoka. And as the other corporations began to tally their losses, they decided to pull out. Our leadership at the time certainly wanted to, but there were others of us who saw an opportunity, the chance to improve work. It's humane, but it's also good business sense. Exhausted, sick, and malnourished workers are not productive workers. Even a cursory review.
I hope you'd treat them nice, whether it was good business or not, Mr. Sanjar. That's what being a community means.
Here, here. That may not be the way the colony works.
A noble thought, Miss Holcomb. Unfortunately, noble thoughts... Anyway, we learned of a loophole in the corporate bylaws that would allow creating the perfect environment for us to enact these new reforms. No. They laughed in our faces, and insisted we'd be relocating to Terra 2, along with everyone else. Yes, some of us stayed behind, and as the most senior executive, I moved forward with our planned reforms, as well as our strategy to... Yet not long after I renamed it Monarch, the other corporations dislodged us from the board and began an official... I don't know. Everything we did was legal and above board. We followed their rules, and yet they still found reason. I do think there's something useful in a governing body like the board. Something that keeps us from... Why wouldn't anyone? They own nearly all the resources and infrastructure in Halcyon.
Yeah, that'd go a long way
To be on the board is to be part of the colonial community, and being cut off means slow... I'm not a man to put pride before progress. If membership on the board can ease our hardships and provide us with opportunity... Besides, I'm hopeful that additional leverage on our part will allow...
Don't get ahead of yourself, sir.
Yes, it'll be easier to explain once we have the Bolt 52. My hope is to maintain the reforms we've managed here, and who knows? Perhaps once we're
It's straight bullshit is what it is. A fabrication rich folks use to preserve their investments, by leaving a lot of people...
Nyoka has the right of it. It's a legal provision that gives the board the authority to cordon off any planet or
But wait, what happens to the folks stuck on the wrong side?
Well, I'm afraid the welfare of a few hundred people is too minor a figure into the board. Yes, making all of MSI criminals in the board's eyes. Rather hard. What can I do for you? I see. And was his delivery of the MS... Well, that's excellent. I'll see that your feedback makes it into his... What else can I do for you? Then it's good that I... Why, to be... Indeed. We've got to consider realities. If membership on the board can ease our hardships and provide us with opportunities... Besides, I'm hopeful that additional leverage on our part will allow... I've discovered it's much easier to negotiate from a position of power. And I don't mean to leave MS. My hope is to maintain the reforms we've managed here. And who knows? What can I do for you?
Greetings, and welcome to Monarch Stellar Industries. What can I do?
Or is he not paying you on account of how he tried to fix the thing his own self and busted it even worse? And then, not that I got any priors.
Not at all. Mr. Nandi treats us all right and pays us well. Laws, no. Sometimes it's canid teeth, or a mantis swarm. So I can talk to him, of course. He doesn't get going about much.
I reckon she's got...
He's sort of the strong... Unfortunately, my apartment's kind of filling up with his stuff. Would you? I'd appreciate that so much. Maybe don't tell him I wanted you to ask. Just that you met... Oh, Mr. Nandi's doing that thing where he doesn't talk much, but he's got this quiet intensity, you know? Like there's stuff going on inside his head that... Plus, he's got great legs. You think that's what I'm looking for? You're funny. Not in Stellar Bay. Everyone else who isn't taken either smells like salt. Besides, a man with a good smile and a proportionate upper to lower body ratio isn't something to pass up. Sorry, sometimes I get carried away. Have you talked to Sebastian yet? You know, sending you is the first bright idea I've seen from that man, because I told him to stop bothering me about... I still don't know anything about it. But if you want to help him, Velma's the one to ask. But I'll warn you, Grim wore her patience thin. Oh, have you talked to him?
I'd give you a friendlier welcome, but... This again? I swear, this is the last time I contract for any... You can tell Grim his poster came in. You can also tell him I got a better... Bad about cover it. She runs the betting parlor across the way. Nice professional lady. She asked me about the poster once. Just once. Damn right it is. It's staying locked up in my office until Nell shows with her money. No. I paid Sublight for it. So, it's mine. And when Nell pays me for it, it'll be hers. Sure can. If you want to pay me more than... I got a feeling you and Katherine would get on like tumors on a pig. Take the poster then. And if I never hear another word about it, it'll be too soon. Something else on your mind?
Have you had time to check on that poster yet? I keep wondering if it... Would you look at that? The Rizzo's logo is nice and bright, and you can still smell the ink. I can't thank you enough. Still, you can have the bits, and you know what? Take my old tossball blocker too. Never get the chance to use.